First, briefly, before we get into structure, you'll see the way I have the folder set up, and that is I have one folder that's going to have where I download the feeds to shopping feeds or whatever data you're working with. Here's I'm going to place the filters that I'm going to be using to go and change the data with, and then I have another filter for processing where the process file goes. And this is a little program that's going to run all the filters sometimes when I need filters run in succession. But let's start from the beginning as far as how the what a CSV file is. So I downloaded feeds to here. There's two types, there's a text and a CSV file. Both of them are really basically text. And the difference is the extension, the text will open up with Notepad and the CSV will open up with Excel. If you take a look at the text data feed, let's open this up. I'm going to use something called Juju Edit, which is the same as Notepad, except it shows you all the characters that are in between the fields. So here's your basic structure. This is a tab delimited. Here's the tabs. And here's your first, the header. The header, let's expand this so you can see it's all on one line. Okay, here's your header. And all separated by a tab. And here's line 1 separated by a tab, and here's line 2 also all separated by tabs. When you open that up in Excel, if I were to right click and open this with Excel, open with Excel, it's going to show me like a regular CSV file that would be separated into the different columns. CSV file, when I open it up, also is going to be separated at that, but actually the delimiter in this case is a comma. Let's take a look in the Notepad or Juju Edit and see what that looks like. Same deal. Notice the comma instead of the tab separating all the fields. So when we talk about a delimiter, we're talking about what separates each field from the next field. And that is, in this case, a comma. Now that could be a little bit of a problem sometimes. You're going to say, one second, what happens if I have in my description a comma somewhere in the middle, like over here? There's a comma. What tells it not to do that? Well, there's something called a text qualifier. Here's a quote, and then at the end you'll find another quote. And that says, when I'll start the quote and I'll end the quote. All the commas in the middle we're going to ignore. So, well, here's where it ends over here. Is that so? This all winds up to be just one column because you have your in the beginning and end. You have your text delimiter, and then in the middle, all these things which might look like delimiters, they're not because they're surrounded by these quotes. Now that you understand that, you can understand that if I were to, let's say, open this and copy that, and let's say do a replace. I'm going to replace that tab with a comma. I do replace all. So when I close this, okay, and I open it up, and I change the extension right now to, let's say, CSV, automatically when I double click and open it, it'll be like a regular CSV file separated by the commas. Now the only problem with the file is on this file there are no text qualifiers. So being there's no text qualifiers, if I were to stick a comma right into over here, that'll just throw off the whole thing and make it into a new column. And that's why if I were to do that, first thing I would want to do is surround it by quotes. So now I won't have that problem. Let's see what that looks like when I open it up. Excel. And there's my comma in the middle, but it didn't throw it off.